Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Community Watch here on Metro TV with me, Gabriel Niobodai Atopra Atunam Togbo Ashonkwa Osonu. Today, I'm coming your way from a point directly opposite the Accra Academy Senior High School. It's close to the GRA Mataheko office, where we've received messages about perennial flooding within the community. Residents are saying that activities of some businessmen who deal in cars is blocking waterways and as a result creating perennial flooding. Is that really the situation? What can be done about the issue of flooding within this locality? We have with us concerned residents as well as the car dealers and then officials from the Ablekuma Central Municipality or Municipal Assembly to see how best we can understand the situation of perennial flooding and then the way forward. So join us on this edition. Your name?
Edward Baye is my name.
Okay.
I'm a resident here, lived here for 50 years now.
For 50 years?
50 years when this house was built, you know.
How do you call this locality?
New Abosokai.
New Abosokai. It's opposite because I'm seeing the Accra Academy School right ahead or across the street from here.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your problem? I had mentioned a bit of it, but you may know exactly what the situation is better than I do.
And the history is that before this, the CP constructed a road. Then we experienced flooding below the knee level. But somewhere in 1996, you can see there's a building over there. The building which houses the church and so on. Now they came to fill up the place without a culvert through. So that was the first flooding that broke all our walls, entered into our rooms, destroyed property, documents, and so on. Then later on, I had to send a petition to AMA, who ordered them to use a prescribed culvert. That is what they did from here to the other end. And it's not adequate enough. It wasn't adequate. It wasn't adequate enough. I couldn't solve the problem. But later on, what I'm seeing is that the emergence of the car dealers from here to the first light, what they are doing is that they are mounting structures on the waterway. So right now what is happening is that it's driving the water backwards and onto the main road. Right now when it rains heavily and it floods and you look at the main road, the water all from this angle, Mataheko and so on, they go across the road. They even run across the road, making the road immotorable. It's unbelievable. So this is what I want to inform the necessary authorities, that the structures on the waterway must be removed immediately so that at least we will have a relief before they think about giving us a drainage system. For instance, the car dealer in front of my house, nobody informed me before they gave him a permit that he should come and build here. Look at what he's put there. He also wants to come and mount the same thing as what the other man has done upon the problem that we have. I don't have, you see, if anything, you want to give a permit to him to do anything on my land, the assembly should come and inform me.
Is the land yours?
No, I mean, it is in front of my house. This is my only access way. No other way. Now, if there's a fire outbreak, or even if there's a tanker, I have to come and remove my sewage, where are they going to pass? Because you see that this guy has parked his cars all over this place. No agreement with him. He's taking advantage of it and gone to the assembly for a permit to come and do something in front of my house.
Have you met officials at the assembly? What transpired? What happened?
I have petitions. I've even written. I have a letter here even to the regional minister. This is a copy that I have. I've written to the necessary assemblies. I've brought them here. They've seen what he's doing. Even the latest one that he brought is blocks. I went to the assembly again, and then they gave me people to come and stop him from doing any development on the land. And the same assembly is the one who did this, who came and dressed this. And now right now it's a death trap. Right, if anybody is crossing this bridge and it falls, if anybody is crossing and it falls into the water will drive him on the drain to the other end. You see, this is not the way they should have done it. If you know you are digging, what do? Make sure you do it well. But you come and do this and then you say you solve the problem. Because we have to go and hire excavator. How? Upon all the money that we spent to go and hire excavator, and now you come and then we are expecting that you are going to do a cut through to the other end. They didn't do anything about that. So,
thank you very much.
It's unbelievable.
We'll be coming over to you again,
right.
But the conversation has started. He's told you what the problem is and then what the assembly has so far done, which he believes that isn't the best at all. He mentioned that the structures of the car dealers should be cleared for proper drains to be laid out in order to avert the flooding that the community experiences each time there is a downpour. We have with us here the car dealers to also share their perspective to the issue. Welcome to Metro TV. Your name?
Mr. Jokum. My name First Light. Car dealers, my name is Chama. Now my garage na I was when you know.
Okay.
I was a summer resident man working on the crate. Anytime bia obe bibia wo government land bia no okohwe the right channel with my ya be boa oman no aha insu asem working na yet by over 15 years ni insu no free abrekuma odoko up to Kaneshi so be ka be 8 years ni sa the same insu no na ko Kaneshi ko se ne mamafo ne manyina e ka se wa ha no insu bia beto bia no etwifa ye no man nyina so insu bia beto ha bia so be ka no kra enye garage na ya je ho no ena ma insuo no esane insuo na ensane chi insuo ya dia tembia ya to besne ko so de da insuo beto bia be frem no ma ba no ma betwa insuo ne ensane chi nko odoko ebesne ko Kaneshi aye nyina ya wo bia witness to it emefo ye witness to it in the side ma we can government work enye na structure bia ya make wa ha ena ma insuo ne ensane chi enti of late na emebem say yesiesie compound no into my measures I see ye ne this compound no to my structures dey be ye dru e bit my ya have neat because almost say ye nya ha neat to mo na my measures be bia kwan be fa so ti bia be bia ye consult no ma ba be hwese sisi mo bit my ye na ye na ya je ho kama say dia konfo mo tutu ye ka ho ne ma and they say ensu no still say ye kwa na ensu no to a etwam e fa ye cars ne so and asema papa dey ka say ye na de ye na ya broku ensu no mpacho nya ne kure ensu no eto a na wa to Kaneshi say free ha ebetuma ko Kaneshi ko bisa say enso no to a free wodoko no esa na chi anasa besne ko enemu atu nti esa ene ma
see e famu car no so
e fa cars no so
enti say e famu car no so a and the wo structures no waterway no nanim pe enti a say famu car no so
ma ye ne kwa na amwa yen cause enso no ye enti wonti mbroko enso kwan structure no kwa amwa ye e fa structure na ye nyina so enti enso no asem dia ha asem no enye structure na ye na ma insuo no esane chi ensane esel na structure kwa o mama e message right ne kwa so na insuo no afa structure so no eko
mpacho na wonteni na enhwe bibi wa kakra
do de bato hwa ade a on se
pizza e wo ha kese we se insuo bibre ba na a she we mu ma no ya ho video insuo ta ha se ba sa insuo no ye de
insuo ne twem ko enya ade esane chi o we na enso ni fa so nyina akọ mato de me kwati ase enso ne nsane chi se esane chi de abeka se bia structure na o ye ne ma enso ne e fa structure chi nyina akọ
ba enso se ne awe ye kese no se enso bibiri aba mo a se wo hwe bibia sa tokro no wo ewo apa ena unya e fa han se enso bibiri ba eye den bibiri ni nyina ye den e fa mo ko
me pacho ti o de me kai enso na e ba no enye enso keto o enso de free odoko enso to enso de free odoko e ba no enye enso a sa ho okura betimi and even the one cross betimi enso de ba e fa so no be kan de kura ti o boss ti de me kan so no be kan de kura ene tenant e ono wo ha enso ne fa ye nyina enso ko ntinya gata wo kura entimi gata wa entimi enso no kura entimi enso no mato de me kwati ase gata na me ye we kwa me na me ye ss in case say enso no e fa ha na ntimi a na nka bia fa wo me na me ska ye enso no kura fa so
enti se wo hwa senya hatie no ye
sada hatie de the best in say as a government ne ba na obey covert obetu asase no no ye covert na nso ne famu to the main road to Odono because there 100 years sa na be.
You see, the guy was denying that the defense wall that he did is not creating a problem. But the car dealer in front of my house, the last flooding which came, it entered into his cars. The cars were submerged in the floods. Because the water was not able to flow through his the defense wall, is why this place became heavily flooded. The water entered into the cars. The car papers were destroyed, and they used to remove all the vehicles from here after the rains before they will bring oil back. You see what I mean? So we want to tell them that what they did is rather driving water across the road into people's offices and then houses. So this is what we want them to do, the correcting. The assembly has to come and do the correcting for our citizens here. Otherwise, we'll make a demonstration. We'll send a petition to the assembly. Excuse me, we'll send a petition to the assembly. We'll send it to the regional.
He's mentioned that he sought permit from the assembly. Unfortunately, we have the assembly officials here. So you are welcome to Metro TV's Community Watch.
Thank you very much. My name is Kwesi Entry. I'm the Municipal NADMO Director for Abrikuma Central Municipal Assembly. I am here with the physical planner of the Assembly, and the West Engineer will join us soon. And I am happy that your presence here has involved the Assembly. We are here in the capacity of the MC to respond to questions that are needed and reasonable as far as this issue is concerned. To allude to that, maybe the settlement of this car delays is the cause of the flooding. I beg to differ. But I beg to differ that...
you don't acknowledge that they've put up...
You have finished talking to them. You are talking to a president. What I'm saying that the claim by the residents that the settlers or the car dealers' presence here is the cause of the flooding, I beg to differ. Okay.
Why?
Yes, I beg to differ. So I had a physical planner here. He will respond to that.
No, but you have mentioned that you beg to differ. So you should offer a reason for that.
The drainage system here is a purely underground drainage system. So whatever on the surface here has nothing to do with the flooding. Obviously, it has nothing to do with the flooding.
What could be causing the flood?
What I'm saying that over the years, this flooding happens, but it's on the lower side. But now, the increase said is as a result of the channel that has been blocked from where the construction of the new interchange is going on. That has caused the increase. Now,
so the observation by the residents that since the inception of this wall, the situation has also worsened is a wrong observation by those who stay here. Is that what you are saying?
Context. They are speaking out of technical context.
So the observation, someone who has lived here for about 50 years, acknowledging that the erection of a wall has worsened the flood situation, means that he's made a wrong observation.
Was he able to establish the day or the period this thing started, so that we can juxtapose it with the construction of the particular bridge? I am here. I am disaster management officer. I admit that flooding in this area happens, but the such increase in the flooding, I am telling you that they are under root cause, and which we are trying to address. So for me, I don't want that banter. I don't want to join the banter between the settlers and probably the residents. I am speaking to you from technical point of view. Steps have been taken by the assembly to address this situation.
What are these steps?
The physical planner will talk to you.
Please, who is the physical planner? So what are these steps, sir?
Okay, thank you very much for your intervention. We, the assembly, as you are aware, we have the responsibility to ensure that there's sustainability within the municipality. In fact, here, as you can see, it's a reservation. It belongs to the government, even though...
A reservation for?
Reservation for infrastructural works, like the road expansion. There could be some service lines passing through and water, and so on and so forth. But as a matter of fact, the assembly takes care of the government lands, that's government reserve lands. So whatever activities that are happening here, we have to ensure that it doesn't jeopardize on any other, issue that may result to causing problem. Okay.
Officer, if this place is to be a reserve, a reserve is supposed to be left as it is, so that there wouldn't be structures on the reserve.
Yes.
And now, as it is, we see several structures on the reserve. And we've also then acknowledged that there is an issue of flooding.
Yes.
It is the responsibility of the assembly to ensure that the reserve is kept as it is. But the assembly, the Ablekuma Central Assembly, is overseeing encroachment on the reserve, and the original problem of perennial flooding still persists, and perhaps even compounding.
Yes.
So that purpose of considering it as a reserve is no longer being observed and followed by the assembly, because you've given permit to the developers, have you, to be on the reserve?
Okay. I think whatever that you are saying is, that is your mind. But
you mentioned that this place is to be a reserve.
You are saying
unless you didn't give reason.
You are saying we have given permit to them.
He mentioned, so maybe you can clarify.
You are, adding to that, and I'm saying that.
So have you given permit to them or not?
No, what you are saying, what you have said, you are speaking out of your mind, okay?
It's not out of my mind, based on what he said. So have you given permit to them or not?
The matter as to whether they are given permit or not, that is a matter to be determined later. Because we
no, but you are from the assembly. Yes, unless you are not in a capacity to say, even though you are from the assembly, to say that you've given them permit or not. Have you given them permit to be here or not?
I'm sure you are aware that Ablekuma Central is just barely 3 years old or so.
Government is continuum. Ablekuma Central was part of a bigger system.
Yes, but if a permit was granted by our predecessor, which is AMA, okay, our mother assembly, I'm sure we cannot stand here and be able to tell you whether they have permits, they were given permit or not.
No, you should be able to. If 3 good years and this matter has persisted, you should be in a capacity. After all, Ablekuma Central was part of AMB. Yes. It was considered as a sub-metro. So when assemblies are working, they work through the sub-metro. So you should be in a position to tell us that this point has a permit or not. Do they have permit to occupy the reserve land or not?
That's what I'm saying, that on records, because we are still, Ablekuma Central, we are not, old enough. You understand? We are in the process of regularizing all the structures that are within our jurisdiction, okay, as far as permitting is concerned. And it will interest you to know that. So
you can't tell if you've given them permit or otherwise?
No, we have to check. We will need to even liaise with the AMA, our mother assembly, to see, because as we speak now, there wasn't any records, handed over to us from the assembly saying that this structure you see here has permit or not. You understand? So we are here. We will liaise with them and we also ask them to submit whatever, if they so have, to submit whatever documents that they have to enable us, make a meaningful conclusion out of the. But for now, I cannot say whether they were given permit. But as far as I am concerned, we are starting from the time that we came, have not issued permits on any temporary structure around here. Okay, but I can tell you that we'll be able to get those information, and if we have to let you know, we will let you have it. The issue of they being here, their existence here, is causing the flood. For me, I have, I don't even know the word to exactly. I have an issue with that. But notwithstanding, like we mentioned.
But if there is an acknowledgement that each time there is a downpour, this area floods. Yes. And now there are structures being on the way where it is observed or it's been acknowledged that there is flooding. Would it compound the situation or not? Would it worsen the situation or not?
To answer your question, that's why I was saying that we will kindly let the people, tell us if there was an existing drain, that starts from here and is supposed to end somewhere. In fact, feed another channel somewhere. Let's know. Because for me, as I'm here, my colleague told you that there's an existing, underground drains. Okay, and I'm sure underground drain to take somebody to with a spiritual whatever to be able to block an underground, if not because of choke from individual houses and other things, to go inside and block them because in the name of putting up a temporary structure or structure. You understand? For me, this matter, it has come to us and we are saying that we had information that Garrett is also working on something like that. And for now, it's at the documentation processes. In fact, we have engaged myself and the engineer. We have been on the panel for almost 2 years now.
Earlier, you had mentioned that there is a bigger plan to address the problem, and that it's at the documentation stage, and that it's taking 2 years. Before your other official from the assembly left or handed over to you, he mentioned you have some measures in place to at least temporarily address the problem, an alternative way of addressing the problem apart from what central government is doing. What is this solution?
The temporary solutions that we were considering. In fact, we deliberated on it several times. And the meeting that we had here, we formed a committee, okay, that was supposed to have looked at these issues, okay. And one of them was that I think the committee was directed to come out with some design. And as part of the committee, hydrological department or the survey department was part of the committee. And they've been experts in drainages. Okay, so we arrived that they should come out with a design, okay, a temporary design. But I think that the challenge has to do with the issue of this Garrett project that is in existence. Because at any time they can move to, to site. And we are also careful the way
if it's not a documentation stage, the people continue to suffer, be it the car dealers, be it the residents.
Yes.
And so we must see the assembly proactively stepping in to trigger the solution they have to avert the perennial flooding which is affecting the residents. So what is the solution? So far, the solution that the assembly says it's bringing up isn't clear. What is the solution?
The solution is that we are trying to make sure that the underground channels are open up, okay, because there are various junctions that we can be able to stand and put. Why wouldn't we to try and see how to open the underground works, okay? Because if you look at this place, my brother, look at this.
So how far with that? How far with that plan?
How far with that? We are waiting for the hydro people to come up with the design, because it involves a lot of work that has to be done. Surveyor will have to come and do your peak levels and stuff like that before the design can be put back.
The issue of flooding is critical, which could render people dead. People could drown. And so saying that it takes so many things and we seem not to be clear, there seem not to be timelines when this and that is going to be done, if not curtailing the entire problem, at least to bring it down a bit, makes it quite concerning and worrying that the Ablekuma Central Assembly for months, for years, seem not to really have the situation under control.
The reason why it is so is that, like I keep mentioning, because of the Garrett project, because these are major works. And I can tell you that my brother, the engineer can attest to that. In coming out with this solution involves a lot of money. There was some dredging works that took place here, okay, so that when the water comes, at least here can be able to detain some. But because
the dredging, which we understand now collects a lot of water.
Yes, it collects water, but for now it serves as a detention point, sort of, because of the construction over there. There's so much pressure that comes there, because it goes and then there's a backflow. You get it.
This could kill a toddler or a little child.
A little child. I'm surprised. I don't know how this can be, because here there's no, it's not close to residential apart from this, and I'm wondering how that could be the case. If you
could be, and if it happens, then the assembly will be found wanting, because per safety standards, the assembly shouldn't dig such a and then leave it open like this.
We are not resting on this matter. We are seriously working on it. let them know that what they have also done, in case we are coming to do any works here, we cannot have access to this place. And I think as a country, we shouldn't be doing. If they were there, I'm assuming they don't have permits, and they have done something like, must you also, as a government institution, also do this? I think that is wrong. So
if that is wrong, whatever is also around is also wrong, and for which the assembly has to intervene. If what those there are doing is wrong,
if things are there and they are not encroaching on waterways, I don't see any problem with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's government reservation.
You've earlier moments ago mentioned that the presence of this is wrong.
Yes.
And so you should boldly be also able to say that this, which is also in same line as what you had pointed at, is also wrong. And for the, you had mentioned moments ago, that is wrong. Yet you are saying that the car dealers' presence is not wrong. And in all this, the assembly has a responsibility. I am not concluding. I am only deducing from your submission that you are not correcting me. You should be able, the assembly should be able to intervene. So even if what they are doing is wrong, no, you've been talking. So when I come in, just allow me to make my submission, then you come in. I'll allow you to talk. You've mentioned that what they are doing there is wrong. So as an assembly, that's where you are. That's why you are there. It doesn't matter if whoever is doing the wrong thing is part of the government or otherwise. It's your responsibility to intervene and clear them. And if that is wrong, and the car dealer's presence too is wrong, you should be able to intervene. Exactly. But that's not what we seem to be seeing.
Exactly. Contributive factors.
Oh, please, I beg. Our presence here isn't meant for you to be fighting and to be using swear words on each other.
The engineer is also here.
Okay, so our time is up. So
before we start, let me show you something. Yes. This is the picture number 1.
Okay.
From this stretch up to here, this is how it looks like. You see the entire rubbish? You see the way it is? So, now, this is the way it looks like.
Okay. That's how it used to be. Or
that's how it used to be. Okay. Before this, let me show you the pictures. Now from here, you can see how it is. This point is here.
Okay.
Now, this year, March, April, the owner of this facility came to us, and it has to do with the silting of this place and the flooding. We formed a committee. We had about 3 or 4 discussions with him. Then we went in for machines. And then this was what we did. When we came, this was how the place looks like. And we did the desalting. Why? To make sure we wouldn't experience that kind of flooding. That is what we have done. Now, with the current situation, the same committee with NADMO, with Garrett, with Hydro, and the assembly, myself, we came here, and him, the owner of the 2 facilities, they were part of the team. We took a walk from here, right, all the way to the downstream and did assessment together. I have all those reports there with pictures. And after the exercise, we all sat down and concluded that this is a massive engineer drain. That has to do with, we call something storm drain. Storm drain. If we want to solve this issue holistically, then we needed a storm drain. And that is the lasting solution. This work is beyond our assembly.
The storm drain you had mentioned that needs to be done.
The storm engineering drain is beyond the assembly.
Please give us your wrap-up.
Please, I'm a caretaker of this building. And then For the past 10 years now, we didn't have any issue about flood in our building here. There's no rain enter our building before. But last year, these guys construct these things here. And from last year, you can testify from GRA, the water just getting into the inside there. So please, if that somebody was telling us that these guys have permits and they construct this thing just last year, and these things what happened here, you can still ask the engineer that when this thing constructed here, once this is constructed, the water come and hit here. You can see it right in front of you. The water hit here. If they could be cut out and the water can go straight, we don't have a problem. When this was blocked here, you can see the drain they put here. The engineer let us bring excavator. We know the excavator will break through, but the excavator didn't break through, and the excavator did what it did and go away. Please, is it fair if you're in Ghana here and these people don't have a permit, and as somebody was telling us, you don't know whether they have permit or they have permit? Who do you believe? Please, see what is going on. Arrest my case, please.
What is that solid video?
What's your take on the matter? How best can this challenge be addressed to bring about lasting convenience or relief for all parties involved or for the residents here? We are trusting that those at the higher levels of authority would keep a close eye on this matter and intervene and ensure that the right thing is done right here at Mataheko GRA office, or the point directly opposite the Accra Academy across from the highway. This is Gabriel Niobodai Atopra Atunam Togbo Ashon Kwalsonu, and I have done this together with Rosemary Koko Anyegba, Jesse and Pinto being part of the team. I trust that you were able to read in between the lines to know exactly where the challenges are and then how best that they could be addressed. Continue watching. Bye-bye.